Hello and welcome to a new course in my channel where I'll be teaching you how you can learn HTML from scratch. In the coming videos, we'll learn the basics of HTML, the basics of CSS, the basics of JavaScript, and everything you need to know to become a fully learned web developer. So before we start this course, I'll be showing you some of the websites that you can go and learn coding, and then maybe you can come back and watch our video. So the first one is FreeCodeCamp. For me, I started learning coding from FreeCodeCamp, where it has very many lessons about web development. You can hit get started, it's free, so that you can create an account. But if you scroll down, you can see here you have a responsive web design certification where you will learn web design from scratch. And then we have another one which is W3 Schools. Here you can learn all the languages you want. You can start with HTML, then go to CSS, JavaScript, and all that. And by the end of this course, we will be able to create dynamic websites. You'll be able to create search websites like this one, e-commerce application like this one, and also this one, which are both e-commerce application. You can see also this one is a e-commerce application with a lot of effects. All of this will be possible by the use of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You'll also be able to create your own portfolio so that you can showcase your work to either potential clients or your friends and all that. So we are going to start by learning the basics. So let's get started. To get started with learning HTML, let me first close all these applications, and then let's come to this notepad. Here you can see I've written that HTML is a hypertext markup language which is used to structure contents of a web page. And then you have this why HTML is important. It is the foundation of every website, right? And then we have other languages, markup languages like XML and HTML, but HTML is the most widely used markup language. And then from that, we are going to start creating the basic structure of HTML. But then we have the tags, which I'll be showing you later. We have the images, how to add images, how to add links, how to add buttons, how to add tables. Tables are used to display tabular data, and forms are used to collect data from users. And then we'll go ahead and start learning CSS, where we can do basic CSS, which is external, internal, and also we can do Bootstrap, Tailwind CSS, which are other style components. So before we start writing anything, you're going to go to Visual Studio Code, because I'll be using this IDE for this course. You're going to download Visual Studio Code. Make sure if you're using Windows, if you're using Mac OS, Linux, just download it for your PC. And then once you have downloaded, make sure you install it. And once you have installed it, you're supposed to get something like this. Let me cancel this one. You're supposed to get something like this, but yours won't look like this because mine, I have added a lot of extensions. So after you have installed Visual Studio Code and you have opened it, you're going to set some things for us to code smoothly. So first, you're going to come to this icon here, which is extensions. But once you have installed Visual Studio Code, it will take you through the many steps. Make sure you go through all those steps so that you can set up yours, and then you'll get this welcome page which has the new file, open folder, and all that. So you're going to hit the extensions tab here, and then the first thing you're going to do, these are all the extensions that you need to make your coding smooth. So here you're going to first look for your desired theme, all the themes like you want. But first, you're going to look for live server. This live server, it helps us launch a development local server with a reload feature, which is very essential for HTML and all that. And then after installing live server, you're going to install Mithril Emmet. Make sure you install the Mithril Emmet. It's used for providing you with these images like suggestions through your code. Make sure you install Mithril Emmet, and then you can also install something else, which is, let's look for HTML. You can install these HTML snippets, IntelliSense, but I think that's everything we need for that. Make sure you install the Emmet, and then you can look for a theme that you want. You can look for any theme that you want, but for now let's focus on writing code. So after installing those few extensions, come to your settings and then go to the settings tab, and then here the user commonly used, make sure you change this autosave. It will be going to be off. Make sure you either save it to after delay, make sure you save it to after delay, so that when we create HTML code and we need to see the changes, we won't keep on saving and then going and reloading. The live server will do the reloading for us, and then the autosave is going to save immediately you make a change on your code, and then the reload will happen, so you don't have to keep on hitting Ctrl+S, so that you can actually see the changes. So make sure you change that setting, and I think that's all for now. So the next thing you're going to do, let me close all that. You're going to come to your desired folder. It can be the desktop, it can be your downloads, anywhere, and then create a new folder. So you're going here to create a, let's say I'm going to create a new folder on my desktop and then name it, let's say, HTML tutorial. Okay, make sure you can name your folder whatever you want, but for me, you can see here I have my folder, and then come back to your Visual Studio Code and then hit file. Not actually, you can hit file or just come here and then you can hit open folder. Okay, so come to where you have created your folder. For me, I've created a HTML tutorial. Let me look for it. Here it is. This is doing this step. Make sure that you write ordered codes. Every time you want to create a HTML or a web page, make sure you put specific pages of a certain website in their own folder, so that it's easy to manage. Okay, so after creating that folder, you're going to, let's close this welcome page, and then you're going to hit this one is for creating folders, and this one is for creating a new file. And we want a new file, of which you can come to your folder, to your created folder. Let's open that created folder. You can come to your created folder and create a new, let's say, file. You can come and create a new file from here, which I've never done, and then name it as .html. But that is a lot of work. You'll just come back to HTML and then to your Visual Studio Code and then hit this new file. Let's say we want to create our hello.html, our first HTML text, and then now we have our first file. Now what you're going to do next, you're going to hit shift and then the exclamation mark, like that, and it's going to give you an image suggestion for the HTML basic structure. So if I hit enter, you can see here we have the doc type HTML, the language is English, we have the head, we have the meta chassis, and then meta name, and then you have the title for our HTML, and we have the body. So inside this body is where we are going to write all our HTML. Okay, but you can teach yourself how to write this, but I don't think it's necessary since we have that shortcut. So you'll just hit shift and then exclamation mark, and then you have that boilerplate for HTML. So we want to run this document so that you can actually see it on our browser. So what you're going to do, you're going to hit that file you have created and then right click on it and then hit open with live server, which is going to run your application. You can see that here, down here, it's starting, but you can do that, which is an easy way. You can see that our document has been opened. Let me close all this first, then let me maximize this so that you can see. Yeah, that's better. And then you can see here at the URL we have our hello.html, right? But you can do that starting the live server, which is an essential step. Or you can do this, you can come back to your folder, your created folder, which has the file, and then you can just click on it, and then it will open that file on your browser. Okay, you can see now we have two, but I don't think that's better. You will only do that when you want to check which file is that. But when you are developing a website, make sure that you start it with live server, so that every time you make a change on your browser, it gets displayed on your browser. So let's do this on your editor, sorry. So let's come here, and then let me close the notepad, and then now we can start creating our first HTML code. Okay, so let me take you through this step first. Here you can see we have the title. This title is the one that comes here at the top of the page, showing that this is a certain document. So we can change this title to my website, like that. And then you can see that it changed. And then if we want to add some content here, we can come inside the body. Make sure that every time we do inside the body here, let me comment here, you say that here is where we write our codes, our HTML. And then let's say you want to connect your CSS, which will come later to that. You connect your CSS to the inside the head here, inside the head. And let's say we wanted to import components from Bootstrap and all that. You are going to put everything in the head if we are doing any imports. Okay, and also if you want to write our internal CSS, you are going to write it inside our head. But for now, let's first focus on writing our first HTML. So we have headings in HTML. We have heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4. So these are just titles. Let's say first start with heading 1. You can see we have a heading 1 here, and then let's duplicate this. I think there are 6 headings, and then let's paste it here down here, and then let's change this to heading 2, and then let's do this. So we are going to do this 6 times so that I can show you something. So this one you can say it's H3, and let's say it's heading 3, and then you can go ahead and do heading 4. Okay, you can do heading 4. Is it H4? Yeah, let me change it so that it becomes H4, like that. And then you have another one which is H5, and then I'm heading 5, and then you have another one which is heading 6, like that. So let's do heading 6, and then I'm heading 6. So as you can see here, the more we continue adding heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 and all that, you see that the sizes of the headings are continuing to reduce, which means mostly when you visit a website, let's use an example. Okay, we can come here and do, let's say this one. Let me see which one. You can see here, this is the Next.js website. You can see here we have this title, and if I start scrolling down, you'll notice that this is the only title which is bigger than the others. So which means this is a H1, a heading 1, which will mostly use once for your page titles. And then we can say this is a heading 2 or a heading 3, like that. And mostly you can say this seems to be a heading 2 for subheadings. So in short, H1s are used for headings, titles and all that. If you want a message to be displayed, like if you want a certain message for your website, let's say you want to create a website to sell clothes, right? You want these people to know that you're selling clothes, so you'll use a H1 to do that. And then heading 2 are just for subheadings, and mostly we are going to use H3, H2 and H1. I don't think mostly we use these 3, because you can see that from heading 4 they are similar to paragraphs, so we just use heading 3, heading 2 and heading 1. So let's actually delete all this, not like delete the other 3, and let's start here. Then let's say here you can come and say hello. Okay, and then down here you can say my name is Khaled, like that. And then down here we can say this is my first HTML, like that. And as you can see here, now we have a certain information. You have hello attracts your eyes because it's bigger, and then my name is Khalid, and then this is my first HTML. But if you are going to create a fully functional website, we would use this in a different way. So first we have the heading tags, and then we have the paragraph tags. So now you know the H2, H1, H3, H4 and all that. So let me comment this. Commenting is telling your code editor or your whatever is running your code to ignore certain text. So let's comment this, and you'll see that it's not visible because I've commented it. And now after heading paragraphs, after heading text we have paragraphs, like that. Paragraphs, these are just the normal paragraphs, document the normal paragraphs. So if I come here and say this is my first HTML, you'll notice that this text is very different from this one because this is a paragraph, and mostly we are going to use these paragraphs to describe a lot about our website. So here you can see it's just a basic portfolio I did. Here you can see this one is a H1, and then we have this is now where we use the p tags. Okay, so we have the paragraphs here, so that's where we'll be using the paragraphs. And now after doing that, obviously we are going to style them so that you can see that this one is very different from this one, because this one actually has stylings, which is the CSS. You will notice that we have these lists. So let's say hello, this is my first HTML, and we can also add another paragraph and say here are my talents. We can do here are my talents, and then we want these talents to be in an ordered list. So what you're going to do, you're going to do an OL, which is an ordered list, and then inside the ordered list you're going to list our talents. So let's say we have a talent of cooking. You can see now the ordered list is starting from 1, and then if we go ahead and add more, let's say we are cooking, let's say gaming, and then we can add another one, which is, let's say, coding, like that. Simple. You can see that now we have an ordered list which is very similar to this, right? So we have that ordered list, but this one is very different from this one because this one is ordered list. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 and on and on. But if we want this to be just dots, bullets or anything, we will come here and change this from OL to UL, which is now an ordered list. And now you can see now we have the bullets instead. So we have that basic styling, and let's say you want people to know that hello, this is my first HTML and here are my talents. Or we can just come here and say hello, my name is Khalid. Okay, so you can see here we have hello, my name is Khalid, this is my first HTML, here are my talents. You have your talents there, and we want to do something else below here. We can add a p tag and say view, not like a p tag. We want these people to know we have talents, right? But these people are curious, how does this person look like? So that's when we go to adding images. So to add images in HTML, we use the img tag. Okay, and the source, this src, is where you put either your link to a certain image, and then this alt is where you write a text describing that image. In case the image doesn't load, the alt loads, the attribute loads. Okay, but we have various methods of actually fetching images, but the most common one, like the easier one, is you come, let's say you want to look for pictures. To look for pictures, we go to pixels.com. okay, and then let's say we want this picture, or let's say we can do man. Okay, actually, okay, we can do a man, not a mark but man. And And then here you can see we have this picture, and we want these people to see that this is our picture, but this one is a paid one. Let's look for one that is not paid. All these are from iStock. Let's see, just basic boy. Let's look for one image, so we can use this image. Okay, so you'll just tap on this image, and we want to use it on our website. So we'll just come here and click copy image address, and then you're going to paste it here like that. And if I come back to my website, you can see we have an image here, which is an image of that boy. And let's say come here and say my picture. So what if we came here and remove this one on the image? It's still doing the same. Let's say we remove some details from this image, okay, like that. Okay, which means now the HTML is not able to fetch the image because the URL has been changed. Now that's when the attribute works. Now you can see that here we have the attribute for my picture, but if I remove this, we'll just get the icon for the images. You see, now we don't have that. So what we'll do is just come back and change that like that. Let's say we wanted to style this image. I want us to first style this image, but we'll come to styling later. I'll just come here and do style. Okay, and then inside here, let's come here to this. You can see we have the image here. We'll just come and do some styling for the image. Okay, so we'll just do img. We want it to have a width, or let's say 30 pixels, and then a height of just 30 pixels, so that it can be a box, but you can increase this width to be, let's say, 50, so that you can be able to see this image, or just 100 pixels. Also the height to be 100 pixels like that. So we have our image here. We have added an image here. So what if we want to these people to hire us? We are supposed to add something that is going to direct them to somewhere they can actually hire us. So let's say view our other works. Okay, so we can do that by adding an a tag. An a tag, if I come here, you can see that we want to add an anchor tag, and in an anchor tag we have a ref, and this ref contains a URL which is going to take us to a certain page. Okay, so if we come here and do let's say this slash and then hello.html, and then we add a text here like home, and then we click that text, it's going to load, but it's going to take us to this HTML. Or if we did a hash, let's do a hash. If we did a hash and then I click it, it will just take us back to the home page. But if we had many pages in this website, like we have in this website, like we have the projects, and now the projects changes, and then we have the contact, you can see the URL changes. If we had many pages, we would just change this to, let's say this one is going to take us to home. But let's say we don't want to add many pages, we have another page, we want to reference that page, or we want this home text to take us to that page. So let's say I have a portfolio, which is this one. Okay, and we have this website, we want these people to see our work. What we'll do is we'll come here and change this, let's say view my portfolio, like that. So we have this text, view my portfolio, and if I click it, it will just take us to the home page because we have not added a reference here, which is the URL. What you're going to do, you're going to come here, and then you're going to copy this URL, copy, and then you're going to paste it here. So anytime we click on this view my portfolio, is going to take us to another page. So let's see, you can see now the URL has changed, and now we are in my portfolio. So if I go back, you can actually see that anchor tag works. But we don't want when this person clicks on this link to take us to change the URL, but we want to create a new tab and take that URL to that tab. So what you are going to do, you're going to come to the anchor tag, and inside this anchor tag you're going to do target, which is going to be blank. Okay, So when we click this, we want this URL to be taken to another blank tab. So let's do that. So if I hit view my portfolio, you see that it has created a new tab and then added that URL, which is the ref to that new tab. And now we have both our first website and then you have the created URL. So this mostly works when you want your users to go to another page, but you don't want their progress in one page to be lost. Okay, but mostly you won't use the target blank because many things are within your web application. So let's actually remove this, and now you can see that our website is almost fully complete, but we have this link here which is going to take us to our portfolio. But let's say we want this person to actually leave a like for this website. What you are going to do, you are going to add a button, and this button is going to be like that. So this button, we can come and add break tags below the image so that it will take the link on a separate line. So let's do a break. You can see it has taken the link on a separate line, and then we can also do a break here, which is BR, to take the button to a different line. So you can see that our website is almost fully finished because now we have the button. If you click this button, is going to like that. This is where we are going to add JavaScript, and if you click this, portfolio is going to take us to another website. Okay, so let's say we didn't want to actually click on my portfolio to take us to a different page. We want to click this link and take us to a page within our application. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to come back to your folder, and then you're going to add a new folder. Let's say hello2.html. okay, and then we have an empty HTML. What you're going to do, you're going to repeat the same process of exclamation mark, you get the boilerplate, and then here we can add just a random text. We can do h1, and then let's say my portfolio, and then below this h1 you can do a p tag, and you can do a random lorem so that it generates a random page. And if I come here and change this URL from hello.html to hello2, and then click, you can see we have our page here. But we actually don't want to keep doing that because the users want to go to the URL here to change the page, so you must do it inside your application. So what you're going to do, let's go back to our app. Okay, like that, and we want to, when they click the view my portfolio, it takes us to hello.html. so what you're going to do, hello2, what you're going to do, you're going to come to the ref here, and then you're going to remove this link like that, and then we are going to do the slash. If you do a slash, it shows you everything that is inside that folder which we created earlier, and we want this to take us to our hello2.html. so if I click view my portfolio, you'll see now we have a new page, but it's still taking us to a new URL because we have added the target blank, but we can stay within our website. So we'll just do view my portfolio, and then now you see this, and below this we can come back to hello2, and below this p tag we can add another a tag, and this a tag is going to take us to our hello.html, and then say go back home, like that. If now I click the go back home, it takes us to our main page, and view my portfolio, it takes us to our portfolio page. Another thing is you don't want to keep on adding images like this. Okay, you want to, let's say you want to use your own image which doesn't have a URL. What you're going to do, you're going to open your folder, go to where you have your pictures, like the picture you want to use. Okay, and then let's say not actually there, let's say I want to use, let's say I want to use this picture. Okay, or let's say I want to use this picture. What I'll do, I'll copy this picture, and then I'll go to my to my folder which you have created, which is which folder? I've forgotten. You have created HTML something, right? HTML tutorial. You can come here and add it directly, but you can also add a new folder for images. Okay, so let's add a new folder for images so that you arrange your work to be neat. Okay, and then inside these images you want to paste it here. So now I'll be showing you how you can do both. You can access the image when it's in the main folder and an image or anything else inside another folder. Okay, so let's come back here, and we don't want this image to actually use this URL. What you're going to do, you're going to delete this, all this. Okay, so let's delete that, add a slash, and you can see here we are being shown the image in our folder, which is how to deploy your website. Let me actually increase this to 200. Okay, let's do this 200 like that. You can see now we have an image here which is looking okay. So what you are going to do, you have the image inside the actual folder, and then you have another image inside the images, another image there. Okay, so you can come here and just remove this, add a slash, and then come inside the images, and then inside that images you're supposed to also add a slash like this, so that it can show you everything that is inside that images folder, and then you can select that image. The same applies when you want to actually access this Hello 2. So what we'll do, let's say we want to add a new folder here, you can do portfolio and move this H2 inside here like that. So we want, and then let's say we can delete this image because we have it in another folder. So here you can see our structure. We have a home page which is hello.html, we have the images, and then we have a portfolio. And then let's say you wanted to add another folder, let's say this folder, not like inside there, inside the main folder you want to add another folder for skills. Okay, like that. This is only to arrange your work in a good way. So inside these skills you can come and do index.html. If you create many pages, if you create many folders for specific, many folders inside that folder, you can name every file in that folder index.html, unless you have created many pages like we did before. We have the hello.html, index.html in one folder. You can't create multiple files with the same name inside one folder. Okay, so we have that. We'll just come to our Hello 2. Okay, and then we can copy all this, Control A, Control C, and inside this index.html you can paste it here, and then here we can do my skills. Okay, like that. And then now let me show you something. We have this portfolio which we moved our hello2.html, we have our skills which has the index.html, and we have our main page which is hello.html. So if I come back to my hello.html, which we have this view my portfolio, if I click this, it's going to give us an error because we actually changed the URL for the Hello 2. So we are going to go back and we are going to change this. Okay, so every time you are creating websites, make sure you view this. So let's actually remove this. Let me first fix that error. Change this, add this slash. You can see that our Hello 2 we added it in our portfolio, and inside the portfolio we have our Hello 2. So we'll just do that. And now if I click my view my portfolio, it takes us to my portfolio page, and our portfolio page is hello2.html. we have the go back home and we have our text here, and instead of doing this, we can duplicate this a tag like that, and here we can say view my skills. Okay, we can do view my skills. You can move these links wherever, however you want. You can add a break tag here so that it takes this below there, and let's say actually move this above the paragraph which is below my portfolio. Let's add it here. So now we have my portfolio, view my skills, and we want this view my skills not to take us back to our home page, but to our portfolio. index.html, which is inside our skills folder. Okay, so what you're going to do here, we're going to change this. We want to go to our skills and we want to go to our index.html, and I have very many extensions, which means I might get this. I might add more slashes than needed, so we have actually added that. So if I click view my skills, it takes us to my skills page, and we have our go back home here, which takes us to our home page. So by doing that, you have your fully created website, which now we are going to style this website so that it looks something better using CSS. I have created some inlines, which an internal CSS, which is a styling here. We are going to learn how you can actually add external CSS, inline CSS, and all that. And let's meet on our next part, while we'll be adding stylings for this website. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and then so that you can be notified the next time I upload a video. We are going to start from these basics, and then we can actually go ahead and create fully functional web pages.